Hey Rebel, Shanghai 6, Front Towards Gamer. We're here at the Star Wars The Old Republic booth. I can't believe we're actually here. I can't believe we're actually seeing the demo here. And who am I talking to?
Daniel Erickson, I'm the lead writer.
Lead writer. Okay, first thing, we might as well get right to it. First thing, we're hearing a lot of talk about how the game is primarily story-driven, and you have like something, how many novels worth of text in the game?
I think at some point somebody estimated it out as about 56 novels worth of, and not text, dialogue, fully spoken, beautifully acted, professionally done. We are the biggest voiceover production in entertainment history, is what it looks like.
Well, LucasArts, you know, you gotta, I guess you have those kind of resources. And there's a lot riding on this. I mean, this is going to possibly be the WoW killer. What are your thoughts on that?
We're not aggressive. We just try to make the best game we can. One of the great things we found over and over again is that great games grow the industry, right? There was not a concept of the MMO space being this big until a game was good enough to make it this big. Same thing. Half-Life, Doom, Tomb Raider, all of these games actually expanded the entire industry when they came in. They didn't put everybody else in their genre out of business.
Okay, that makes sense. But honestly, coming out with any kind of PC MMO, you obviously have to look at that giant Mount Everest game and go, okay, we have to survive in the at least shadow of this, because so many other MMOs nowadays just fall apart. Obviously, you have the Star Wars name, you've got the Star Wars fan base, so you've got that going for you. So the gameplay is very similar to what we've seen in a lot of traditional MMOs nowadays. What makes the Old Republic different from everything else out there?
Well, the one obvious one obviously is a story, right? So you have choice, you have context, you actually know why you're doing things instead of just doing them. You actually have the mystery of what comes next. You're actually making decisions and owning your stuff. Also, our gameplay is very different at the base thing. It's faster. You notice when you're doing combat, you're not spending, 3 minutes fighting one guy. You're fighting a ton of guys. People are blowing up. People are flying through the air. You've got force powers. You can run. People are shooting. Like, it's a very, very different feel. We take everything, we look at the movies and we say, what is going to make this feel like I'm playing a Star Wars movie? And if it doesn't hold up to that level, we got to redo it.
That seems like a good standard to go with. So what other things do we have to look forward to?
We've got a lot of announcements still coming. We haven't talked much about PvP yet. We haven't talked about crafting. We haven't talked about guilds. We haven't talked about Elder Game. All of this stuff is still coming. We haven't finished talking about planets. We haven't finished talking about, there's so much left to reveal. It's super exciting to be here and get people in front of it. People keep saying demo. It's not a demo. We've got the game running live from the servers. The whole game is here.
Oh, really?
There is no end to this.
I did not know that. I will have to jump back on it. Okay.
So yeah, we've had people come in already. We saw the first person. I wanted to give him an achievement sticker who came in and played all 6 classes. Everything's here to play if you want to see it.
Well, that's the kind of fanaticism the brand name comes with. But somebody's going to do that. But as the writer, how much did you go back through? How much is canon? How much is from the the offshoot novelizations? And then how much is just new content?
Well, one of the things we really try to do is most of the stuff in the extended universe is considered canon now. There's small stuff that they just go off and do on their own. What we try to do is look at the canon and the larger stuff that fits into the base concept of Star Wars for us, and that's always the movies. So we go back to that, and we'll take anything from there. We have the Chiss in the game, which are based off Grand Admiral Thrawn, who's my favorite character from the Timothy Zahn novels, right? Loved them, loved him. We're like, all right, let's bring them in. We've got a lot of stuff like that. We do have some new stuff in the game, but we are really respectful of what's out there. There's not a lot of reason in the Star Wars universe, with it as big as there it is, for me to go out and just create new stuff if there is anything out there that we can expand on, even if it's one line from some throwaway thing, right? Ord Mantell is in our game. All we saw in the movies is that Han said, well, the bounty hunter I ran into in Ord Mantell said that, that's it, all right, we're putting in Ord Mantell. Why make up something when you can build on the greatness that's there?
All right, so the storyline, can you tell us about the storyline at all?
Absolutely. So the game takes place 3,000 years before the rise of Darth Vader and 300 years after the events of Knights of the Old Republic. The Sith Empire which is actually what Revan went back out to fight at the end of KOTOR 2, has come back. Apparently he managed to delay them for a while, but they're back. There's an entire empire. The old Sith are back, so you actually get the cool red guys with the little tentacle beards and the stuff coming off their face, and they are not happy. 1,000 years beforehand, they were pushed out by the Jedi and almost exterminated. They've been rebuilding, nursing their grudge. Now we have a full giant war happens. The war comes to a close about 10-15 years before the game starts, and in between there's sort of a very tense piece. As the players are starting, the piece is really fraying at the edges, and this is sort of the new generation of people who are coming in right as things start to get hot again.
Okay, now, I don't know if you know the answer to this or can even talk about it, but the Galaxies franchise from Sony, I guess my question is, the decision to take it back 3,000 years, so there's no C-3PO, there's no Luke Skywalker, but those are like major notes in a Star Wars fan's like things that they're looking for in a Star Wars game. What was the decision behind just taking it and just going, all right, we're going completely new, we're just going not off script, but we're going away from what everybody knows, we're going to try this whole new avenue?
Well, obviously we'd already done this with Knights of the Old Republic, and the reason we did it is it's very important that the player gets to be the hero. I don't want to follow Luke Skywalker around and carry his bags, right? Like, I don't want to be like, hey Han, come here Han, you're cool. I want to be the hero. I want to build my whole adventure. I want to save the galaxy. So we take the notes, we take the strong pieces that were obviously very popular from the movies. We take the themes and the motifs, and then we take those and we put them in a new place where the players get to be the stars. For us, it's always been about, you need to be in the central role. When you were playing, you dreamed about being Han Solo, but if you're going to tell your own story and make your own decisions, you can't be Han, because we already know what Han does, right? So you need to be like Han, but your own man. And maybe you were thought, man, Han was a chump. Like, he started out all cool and dark side and being all selfish. Then he got pressured by his group into being light side and saving the princess and defending the galaxy. Forget that. I'm going dark side smuggler all the way.
Well, actually, that brings up a great point. Light side, dark side. How are you guys addressing that in this game? Like, is there, I guess based on the story, they're going to be story point decisions that you make that open up different missions and things like that? How do you guys address that?
Absolutely, and one of the things that's very important is that there's a very separate concept between faction and light side and dark side. You can be a light side Sith. You can be a dark side Jedi, right? Just because you were born somewhere and ended up in a particular side of the fence does not mean that your fate is sealed. Every choice, every amount of complexity that would normally be in a single-player Bioware game is in each class of this game. So for people who went through and played Knights of the Old Republic twice to see everything that happened, you would have to go through and play this 16 times, because you can absolutely go there, and it's very hard. Being a light side Sith in an environment that does not expect you to be light side takes a lot of work, but there's a lot of reward for it.
All right, what's the updated timeline when this is going to get pushed out? Do we know? Mid next year?
Spring next year. We have not moved.
I think you have a pretty good chance of changing things up a little bit. So good luck. Have a good con, and I certainly appreciate you taking the time out today to talk to me.
Thank you much.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Shanghai 6 out.